Xbox is looking to have a very big 2023, and we're going to be talking about all the predictions and a preview of what you can expect from Xbox this year. There's a lot here to talk about, so let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? This is Randall419, the man with the million, back again with another video. I hope everybody is having an incredible weekend. If you guys can do me a huge favor, make sure you hit that like button, and please subscribe if you are new to the channel. We're on our way to 100,000. And make sure you guys share this on social media and check out the Patreon in the description. It's all greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch the video. 2023 is finally here, and I'm sure everybody is incredibly happy to see 2022 in their rearview mirror. Xbox has a lot on their plate for this year, as they should, considering, well, they didn't really show up to dinner last year whatsoever. Xbox will be finally releasing some big AAA games this year, from Starfield and Redfall, and who knows what will come out in the second half of the year. Could we see a Hellblade 2? But there's a lot more going on than just the games and the release dates and stuff. This is going to be a predictions and preview video, and it's going to be a little bit different than what I normally do, my regular videos, which I hope people are enjoying, as I'm getting back in the spirit of making content for everybody. So this past week on Friday during the Xbox 2 podcast, myself and Jez Corden went over a whole bunch of different predictions for Xbox in 2023. I think in total we had about 15 predictions from when we thought this new Xbox showcase would take place, if there were going to be any new hardware leaks like a mid-gen refresh or a Slim, what's going to happen with Xbox Game Pass this year, and what studios were going to reveal their brand new games this year around E3. There's a lot of predictions here, and I hope you enjoy this little clip from the Xbox 2 podcast. I wish I could have had Jez here and we could record it all over, but I thought we did it pretty well the first time. So enjoy the prediction. My first prediction, which probably isn't really a surprise. I think Xbox will have a show or a direct sometime at the end of this month, January. What do you think? Specific. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I agree. I think we could even hear it. If it is real,
they'd have to announce it soon.
Because they'd have to announce it pretty soon, maybe even as soon as next week, I would have thought. But man, if it's not real, I'm blaming you. Man.
Okay, so that's one of my predictions. Xbox Direct, or whatever they're going to call it, end of January. What do you think? What's a Jez prediction for 2023?
We're going to take it in turns.
Yeah, why not? Take it in turns.
I think this is the year that we start hearing about a new Xbox hardware.
Really?
Not from Microsoft themselves, potentially.
Okay. So you're saying from leakers? Are you saying this year, 2023, is the year that someone is going to leak about new Xbox hardware? Are we talking
mid-gen
upgrade? So a mid-gen upgrade? Are we talking like a Series X Slim? That's interesting.
Yeah, okay. Something like that.
I didn't have that in my predictions. I actually didn't have like a hardware redesign or mid-gen upgrade. That's interesting. I like that. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
Not from Microsoft, but I think the development cycle is getting to a point now where things might get a little bit leaky for it. I would have thought maybe, possibly.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe this year.
Wow, it's interesting that you say that almost.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
How many teraflops will this mid-gen Xbox have? 20?
50,000.
50,000. What was how many does the 4080 have? Isn't it like 92 teraflops? Yeah.
It's going to have 50,000 teraflops. It's going to be a quantum computer GPU or some shit. I don't know.
Do you think...
I have no idea. Don't ask me about specs and shit. I suppose the question is like, what kind of mid-gen upgrade is it going to be? Is it just going to be like a slimmer model, same internals, that's sort of like maybe a little bit cheaper to manufacture and stuff like that? That's honestly in the ballpark of what I might expect. something that's like not hugely different architecturally, like maybe not more powerful. I really like Tom Henderson's rumor about the diskless PlayStation with the external disk drive as an optional add-on. I think that's something Microsoft could do as well, and it's probably something they've thought about, especially after seeing the success of the Series S, which has no disk drive. I think the whole idea of discs is pretty much close to sailing now. But I don't think they'll completely kill the retail market. I think they will sell separate disk drive, because at the end of the day, you don't run the games from the disc. Not fast enough. It runs off the SSD. They're just there to license the game and install it, and even in some cases, not even install it. A lot of games these days don't even have the game on the disc. They've just got a little license. So yeah, I think that is one aspect of it, maybe disklessness, and that's not based on anything. That's just based on the fact that PlayStation's going down that route, and you have to assume Microsoft's looking at it, considering they've already made a diskless Xbox Series S. It only just makes sense, right? But yeah, could it be? I would be interested if, like, here's what I think they should do.
Okay.
With a mid-gen upgrade, I think maybe they should add more system resources, but for the operating system. And maybe the next upgrade version is the first version that has a new dashboard that can actually have extra features, and then you lead with that dashboard into next gen. Because the big problem with the dashboard right now is that it's still kind of like, it's not as slow as the amount of resources allocated for the Xbox One by any means, but it's still bottlenecked. It's still stranglehold by that stuff, and I think it's still limited by what it can be because of that. So maybe that's something they could do to upgrade it, or I don't know. But yeah, yeah. As for power, I don't know if they'd change the power necessarily, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I mean, it is just a prediction, right? So it may not even be true.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it might not have been true. Yeah, of course.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, it's your turn now. What's your turn?
My next prediction is that Xbox is going to have more individual game showcases this year. So I think Starfield will have its own show. I think Redfall will have its own show. I think Forza will have its own show. I think, I think the big games that Xbox is doing, they'll have their own showcases.
So like Nintendo Direct style, like where they do Pokemon Direct, or
like a state of play that is just strictly about one thing. I think you'll finally have that this year from Xbox.
Interesting.
And that'll move forward. So I mean, I guess maybe you could say that falls in line with the Xbox Direct, but whatever. Those are two things that I feel like are going to happen. So give me another prediction, Jez. So we got prediction 1 from Jez is new hardware leaks this year. What's your prediction number 2?
I think this year we see Avowed gameplay.
Ooh, I like that.
One of the events.
Okay.
Finally. I think we see maybe I think the Wandering Tower, Project Belfry, will launch this year.
Oh, will come out this year. All right. I like that. More games, the better. I'm down for that. Yeah.
I think yeah, okay. That's 2. You just had 2 predictions, so it's your turn now.
Okay, fair enough. My next prediction is about Starfield.
Oh.
And I think when Starfield releases, it'll get a 90 meta, and it'll be releasing in April.
April.
I've been saying June for whatever. I'm just going to have a little bit of fun. June is a little bit boring, so I'm going to say, you know what? It's coming in April. Redfall's the one that leapfrogged it, so why not? I'm having fun with these predictions, Jazz.
I agree with you that Starfield hit 90 meta.
Okay.
But I think there'll be controversy about it.
Ooh, controversy. Interesting.
Yeah. Because I think it's going to have a user-generated content platform similar to Roblox, similar to Minecraft, where people can make and sell mods. Now, if you remember, Fallout and Elder Scrolls had that thing called the Creation Club, right? And it was very controversial with the modding community, who feel like, it's sort of... I'm not exactly 100% sure why it was so controversial. But we live in different times now Roblox is huge, absolutely massive, and like one of the biggest IPOs like for a video game company going public, maybe ever. I want to say, and that is an entire content platform based around user-generated content. So I personally think that Starfield's going to do the same, and I think that's why the game world's as big as it is. I think the whole reason it's a galaxy-sized game. And it'll still have like the handcrafted stuff that we all love Bethesda for. But I think a lot of those planets that they were talking about being blank or randomly generated or whatever, that's going to be used for user generated content. That's my prediction, just based on the way the industry's been going. Could be completely wrong. Maybe Bethesda got really cold feet after the whole Creation Club debacle, but yeah. I think that's one of the things they'll announce for it, and I think that'll be controversial in some circles.
Okay. Fair enough. I like that. All right. I'm going to say, next prediction, Hellblade 2 releases in September this year.
This year?
This year. Hellblade 2 releases in September this year.
Damn, that's bold.
That's me going on a limb. That's my game. My number one most anticipated. Screw it, whatever. I'm saying it. Hellblade 2 this year, September. Big holiday game, or close to the holidays you can get.
Well, I wouldn't make that prediction. So
what?
You're on your own with that one, bro.
Why would you say that?
What do you mean? I think that's very optimistic that it'll launch this year. But hey, I would like it to. But yeah, I think that's optimistic.
You don't like Hellblade. You've already talked about how it's just a walking sim to you, and you don't like it. So whatever.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to launch this year, bro.
I mean, what makes you think that? Do you have information that you don't think it's coming this year? Like, what's going on?
No, not really. Just pessimism.
Just a personal gut, just a Jez gut feeling, essentially.
Pessimism, pandemic, the fact they've had to build a whole new studio and from scratch. Well, they didn't have to, but they did build a new studio and moved into it and all that kind of stuff the last few years. It feels like that's probably slowed down development a little bit, but hey, I could be completely wrong.
Maybe. Space Dovakin wants to know, Jazz, is Starfield going to be filmic? I'm assuming he's talking about frame rate. 30 frames? 60 performance mode?
Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay. My prediction is that Starfield is filmic, that it is 30 frames, and it won't have a performance mode.
Oh, you're hurting me. You're hurting me.
That's my prediction. But that's based on nothing, by the way. I have never asked the source about that. Maybe I should. But it doesn't bother me that much, I guess. My other prediction is Diablo 4 wins Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
Whoa. Wow, that is certainly something. Certainly, okay. Even though Zelda's coming out and is going to win, I don't even need to. It's kind of like Elden Ring. It's like you knew Elden Ring was going to win. You're that confident in Diablo, huh?
Yeah, I don't think they'll give a game that's 15 FPS Game of the Year.
15 FPS. Hello.
That's my other prediction. Zelda will be 15 frames per second.
They're also saying that the Zelda game's like the last big game for the Switch. I have the ABK deal closes in half two, so between July and December, and
the second half of the year.
Yeah, second half of the year. The ABK deal closes in the second half of the year. And Microsoft puts the COD expansion into Game Pass day one, the one that's launching at the end of this year.
Well, I'm going to contradict you then.
Okay.
I'm going to predict that the ABK deal closes before the second half of the year, so before the end of June.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, you weren't going to go the opposite route and just say it's going to get blocked. That could be a prediction.
No, I'm not putting that.
Xbox, Microsoft walks away from it. So, Jez, prediction.
There's people out there who are tweeting like, "Oh man, I'm worried what Jez will do if the deal's blocked." Like it's like my life depends on it or something. That once Microsoft and ABK have closed the deal, they'll do some kind of ABK direct where they outline their immediate plans for everything. Well, they'll be like, "Yeah, Call of Duty's going Game Pass. This is what we're gonna bring back StarCraft, basically to allay any fears that people have, give them a taste of the future, and be sort of transparent about what people can expect with the ABK deal. So yeah, they'll close the deal, and then they'll do like a ABK Direct, and they'll also have a segment talking about how Candy Crush is coming to Xbox with 4K and ray tracing.
This prediction, I don't think people are gonna like.
Oh no, what is it?
I say sometime this year, Xbox Game Pass price increase will increase $5 across the board for every tier, right around the time of the family plan launch.
Ooh.
Microsoft will raise the price of Game Pass, so Game Pass Ultimate will be $20. Game Pass Console will be $15. PC will be $15, and that will be the new pricing.
Next prediction is we won't see a new Elite controller this year.
Okay, no, I mean that makes sense. They revealed the core this past year. Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think maybe the earliest we see the Elite 3 is next year. So I agree with you on that one. My next prediction is that Xbox returns with an in-person E3 showcase with fans, live show, and they will drop the 12-month format.
Yeah, I agree with that. They'll drop the 12-month format. Even though I kind of like it. Yeah, I think like a lot of the marketing will change this year just because they've rearranged the strategy, changed the personnel, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the 12-month format changed.
Yeah. All right, my one more is that Compulsion, id Software, Coalition, Tango, and ZeniMax Online will all reveal new games this year.
That's a good one. I wondered when you were going to announce the Hi-Fi Rush from Tango Gameworks. We're expecting Hi-Fi Rush to be a smaller kind of game, right? That's
what Jeff Grubb said. Yeah.
Grubby
the Grubster,
yeah,
the one and only.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
I mean, I feel that's pretty good, right? That's 5 studios, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, announcing new games this year. Yeah. That's pretty good, combined with all the games that Xbox already has announced. I feel like those are realistic, right?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, I'm going to throw out an optimistic prediction because I don't do these usually. I don't do optimism. You know me, Rand. I don't do optimism, right? Okay. My optimistic prediction for the year is Microsoft will somehow solve their issues with Square Enix.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought you were going to say PlayStation's going to buy Square Enix, and then I guess that they would solve their issue if PlayStation bought them. Well, their issue's solved.
Well, there you go. Yeah, like one way or another, Microsoft will solve these issues with Square Enix. Yeah, I think there is a high chance that Sony could move to buy Square Enix. But I think if they didn't, I think Microsoft will crack Square Enix eventually. And hopefully we'll start seeing some of those games end up on Xbox, the ones that everyone wants, So yeah, that's my optimistic prediction for the year. I also think I'll give you another one because you did too, because I couldn't think of one. I think this year there'll be a sort of another like pretty major gaming surprise.
Really?
I think there'll be like some kind of like something on the scale of, like when Killer Instinct was announced, it was all nostalgic and awesome, and everyone's like, oh my god, I never expected that. I think there'll be something on that kind of scale where it's like Microsoft does something very fan servicey and makes everyone really happy during their E3 showcase or something like that.
Okay.
Again, that's not based on anything. I just feel it. I feel it in my bones.